Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Connors, Alan Leslie of Fretz RV. Due to the current pandemic and everything that's going on with the world, we're going to do your walkthrough virtually. We're going to be going through the coach itself, making sure you guys are comfortable. I'm going to go over the ins and outs of how to use the coach, set up, breakdown, the whole 9 yards, okay? One of the first things that we're going to start is how we're actually going to camp itself, and one of the first things that we do is going to be your leveling. So once you pull up to a site, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to pick your own site. They'll put you where you are, and a lot of them aren't level. Luckily, this coach does have leveling jacks on it. You don't have to use your tires, even though I still recommend you bring chalks as well as pads, because even though they do have feet, you want to have some type of cushion underneath the pads itself. But it's a lot easier setup than you would say manual jacks, a trailer, or even this type of coach without jacks. So right up here, is your automatic leveling. With the automatic leveling, you have auto retract, left, front, right, rear. The reason that these are here is just because if it's a little off, if you're too askew and you're not getting level correctly, it won't level it completely. Say if you're completely off like here, it's not going to level it out. It's just too much. So you have to block up the coach and then put your leveling jacks down. They are leveling jacks, but they still are stabilizers itself, so they have to be stabilized. So that's what these buttons here, just to maneuver it a little bit more. If you need to put that extra foot down, you can. Otherwise, you're just going to hit auto. You're going to power the system on and then hit auto, and it's going to do its thing and go down and level the self out. Otherwise, you do have books and manuals. I'll show you where those are at, and you'll be able to go through and read all about this system itself. So once you've done that, you're going to go inside and let the slide out. I will show you that once we head inside, but we're going to do the outside stuff for now. After I've let my slide out, or prior, it's totally up to you, I'm going to hook up all my systems. This coach is a little bit different. Your city water connection is back here. This is going to be where you have a hose that's connected at all times. Okay, if you're going somewhere where it's isolated, you don't have any water hookup, then you're going to come over here and fill up your freshwater tank. This is a freshwater tank for holding water only. So if you're going to a national park, a lot of national parks are not going to have hookups for you. So you want to fill it up. I don't recommend that you fill up and travel with full tank of water. Put about a quarter tank in there, travel where you need to go, just in case Mrs. has to use the bathroom, or you got to stop and wash your hands, whatever the case may be. At least you have a little bit of water there. Plan your trip out in about 10 minutes prior, or whenever you can, then fill up the tank. That way you're not overloading your cargo carrying capacity. So fill up your tank. You have levelers inside, and I'll show you where those are at. But if not, if you're going to go to a regular park where they have hookups, again, you're going to be here. This is your connection for city water. So a couple of things I do recommend is you're going to want to put a water pressure regulator on this end and a filter on the other end. This does have a filtration system, but it doesn't hurt to get an additional torpedo filter. Okay, so I would check that out, see what you guys think. A lot of people go different routes, but I still recommend a filter. Hoses, you want to do either blue or white, never green. There's toxins in a green hose that you do not want as you're showering or drinking the water itself. So water pressure regulator here, water filter on the other end. Next thing is the fun part, is going to be your sewer hose. Your connection is going to be through here, and you do have a pocket to go down, so you can lock this if needed. Black and gray. Your black is going to be your toilet, gray is going to be your sink and shower waste. First thing you're going to do is get gloves, because you never know what's on the end of that cap. So put gloves on, open it up, hook your hose up, make sure it's in the ground, then go ahead and pull your black. Your black, again, is going to release the toilet. Let that go completely. I do recommend that you get a clear coupler at the end. This is a coupler, but it's not clear. You can get clear ones, that way you know it's done. Once it's done, then you want to pull the gray. I don't recommend doing it all at once. That way, once you pull the gray, it washes all that black out. Some people, I do recommend that you get like a tub to hold all the hoses, and that way you put a trash bag and put your dirty hose in. Looks like the old owner kept the freshwater hose, so you guys are good there. But coming back in here, you have a couple things. You have an inverter there. That's your power inverter. And then in here is the air suspension on here. It's not automatic. You do have to fill it up with a gauge, but it depends on how the ride is. Normally from factory, they're pretty good, but some people like a little bit stiffer ride, so that's going to be on your judgment there. You do have a little light in here turning it on and off. Your gas fill is here. Oh, sorry. Your gas fill is here. Tire pressure, you just got to go what's with the door itself. While we're out here, I will talk about some maintenance. This is a Power Glide slide. So, actually, should be Schwintek. I'm sorry. This is a Schwintek slide. There's no maintenance on a Schwintek slide. Do not grease this. Do not do anything as far as maintenance goes. It'll come in askew or crooked and come off the track itself and just really mess it up. Don't worry about it. Don't grease it. Just leave it alone. You do have a slide topper on top. That is not for water. It is for leaves, pine needles, to keep everything off. So you still want to check your seals. You want to make sure in here is a little gasket for the water itself. Now there's 4 of these, 2 on the outside, 2 on the inside, that will act as a windshield wiper. As it's coming in, it'll get all the water off itself. So 2 things you want to make sure. One is that this is out all the way. You never want it pinched in. And then 2, the top is overlapping the side. Okay? Well, again, we'll talk maintenance on this. They do have a conditioner. I do recommend you condition these seals maybe every 2 years. Just watch it, make sure they're not caulking up, they're not chalking at all, they're not cracking. If they're cracking, then it's almost time to replace, but to prevent that, there is an actual conditioner for it. You do have a full body paint coach, so you don't have to worry about any decals or any special cleaning. It's just regular automotive paint, so regular automotive car wash will work fine. Naturally, don't bring it through a car wash. Tires, I do recommend that you do cover your tires. Even if it's inside, still weather can hurt them, but especially if it's in direct sunlight, you want to cover the tires so you don't dry rot and you're not getting tires every 2 years. Easy access storage throughout. You are going to have low point drains underneath. That is going to release all the water that's in the low hanging drains, as well as your freshwater tank if you just want to drain it for the winter or your next trip or whatever the case may be. I do recommend that you drain it when you come home. I know it's a little bit of pain, but it's worth it in the long run as far as, smell and stuff like that. You don't have to bleach it every time. Just let the water drain out and then fill it up the next time you're ready to go. Up here is your generator. Your controls for your generator is inside. They're not outside. They are inside the coach itself, and I'll show you how to set up and break down that. But if you do need to maintain it, it is in this compartment here. And that is the exhaust for the generator there. So your hood release is in here. A couple of things while we're on this side. You got your mirrors, heated mirrors here, and then your headlights, parking lights. What's that? Okay. Okay. Again, your lights are here, on, off, parking lights, regular headlights. Your dim switch is here, and just like a regular Ford truck, blinker, windshield wipers, all that's right up front. And then you have your camera, but we'll go over that. I just popped the hood. This is a Triton V10, 425 horsepower, 425 foot-pounds of torque. Battery, we tested it, we made sure it's fully charged, ready to go. Transmission fluid, your oil fill, your dipstick is right down here. Okay, brake fluid, all your fluids are checked and good. Air box, I do recommend you do that every 2 years, or whenever you go to do your oil change, check your air box, make sure your filter's okay there. Even though this is a full body paint coach, you still want to check your seals every year, I would say. Get on top, make sure there's no cracking, no separation. Walk the roof, make sure there's nothing wrong with it in that point there. One of the other things I'm going to do for when I first set up is I'm going to come out here and turn my propane tank on. Reason being is because this is going to control a lot of the things in the coach. One is going to be your furnace. Your heat in the actual coach is just propane heat. The next is going to be your refrigerator. As you're traveling down the road, you do have the option of turning it on, the refrigerator itself, on propane. Your water heater is a gas and electric water heater. So if you, again, are remote somewhere, you can click that on and be able to run the water heater off the propane itself. I don't believe there's anything else on the propane. And then there's cooking. You have an additional quick connect that you can hook up to it and be able to cook outside. Oh, as well as your stovetop. Your stovetop is propane as well. Moving forward, we just have storage, TVs in here. We went over that when you guys came in. Your remotes in here too. Everything works nice. Your water heaters here. Virtually, you'll never have to come mess with this unless you're going to winterize it. Currently, it is still winterized, so you do have to drain it whenever you're ready to go. So it's already ready. All you'll have to do is hook a hose up to the city water connect and just let it drain out. Turn on all your spigots. Don't forget your outside shower. So open that up and turn the water on and let that drain out until you see no more pink. And the pink, don't be scared, it's just antifreeze. But that is your water heater access. Again, you don't turn it on from here. You have the panel inside. This is your furnace, 30,000 BTU furnace. Careful on the little ones or anyone else. Do not touch this if it's on. It does get hot and it protrudes about this far. This is the back of your refrigerator. Again, virtually you'll never have to come out here and mess with it. It does have a board in there that can short circuit if you're spraying water in it. So if you are hitting this with a pressure washer, spray down like waterfall. Don't spray directly in these inlets. This is very important back here. Water bypass valve, water filtration system. You do have to get the filter that's inside. Right now it is winterized, so this is your water pump access as well. If you ever need to change that out, it's really easy to switch out, but here's your actual panel to take care of that. Okay, again, here's the other side. So you got left and right on that air fit on your bags on this coach itself. You got left and right on here. This is your black sewer flush system. Whenever you're done camping, I wouldn't say every time you dump the actual coach, because you could dump it 3-4 times on your actual camping trip. But when you're actually done camping, you'll come over here, hook your hose up to it. Do not forget this, because I had a customer that actually flooded his coach and because he walked away from it. This has a sprayer inside the black tank, so it gets all the debris that's sticking on the side. So you need to hook this hose up to it and go to the other side and open up your black and gray valves. Already have your hose hooked up, but before you even turn this on, make sure you open up your black and gray valves. Really, it's just your black, but I still open up my gray valves too, just in case. But you'll hook that up to it and then turn your water spigot on. Then it'll force it out, and then maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just watch it. You should be done and nice and clear from there. Okay. Your awning, you have a nice big awning out here. I'll go ahead and open it up. It's a really nice day out. Don't worry, it'll be clean before you guys come pick it up. It is a power awning. Now this awning is a Dometic awning. It's one of the best in the industry. It goes out really fast, easy adjustable, but it does not have a wind sensor on it. So if you do camp and you go, say, to the beach or out to the lake or whatever, don't walk away from this awning, because one gust of wind can take it and flip it over to the other side. But if you need to adjust it, undo these here, loosen it up. You can pull down. See, I do it one hand, tighten it back up, so you can at least control the runoff in a rainstorm, whatever the case may be. If you just want to point, get different angles on your shade. Okay. So do not roll it in like this. You got to loosen it up when it's ready to roll in. You see, you have an LED light strip. The controls on the inside. It shines your campsite up really bright at night. Another thing is you do have side marker cameras. Once you flip the blinker, I believe we did it on our test drive. Once you flip the blinker, it shows on the screen inside. All right, we will head in now. Placed into here. Yep. Yeah. Your batteries are going to be placed into here. Okay. These are your house batteries, 2 of them. If you ever need to change them, they're easily come in and out. With the batteries itself, you have a battery disconnect here. This will shut all 12 volt off from the coach. So whenever you're done camping, when you're walking away and closing this up, to make sure you shut that off so it kills all power. So when you come up, next spring, and you want to turn it on, you got full batteries. But I still recommend you take all your batteries off during the winter, put them inside, put them on a trickle charger, leave it on some wood, and just let it charge up during that time if you can. If not, you might have to charge it. I'm not sure. It all depends on how you leave the coach itself. Coming in, you have your porch light, your awning light going above, and then your living room interior as soon as you walk in, so you're not walking in blind. And here's your awning switch here. This is a heat duct. You'll see it throughout. the coach itself, I don't believe this has any heat ducts in the floor. All of them are all along the side. And again, that's only off the furnace. It's not air conditioning. Okay. A couple of things I have to point out to you for safety reasons. Fire extinguisher is going to be here. Smoke detector up top. Should have a new battery in it. And this is a carbon monoxide LP detector down at the bottom here. Now this is hardwired, so if it goes off, you might have to reset it. If it goes off twice, get out of the coach. Now, a little funny situation, this does get triggered off flatulence. So if you have a dog or anything and it farts, it's going to trigger. So that's another thing to take in consideration. Walking through the coach, first thing is your refrigerator. Your controllers are going to be on top, on, off, auto, gas, temp set. Right now I have it on propane, or I can switch it on auto. Auto will really get its best source. So I usually travel with auto, but if I am done with the coach, don't forget to turn it off. That's the biggest thing. Don't forget to turn it off whenever you're done with the coach itself. Because if not, and you leave it on, you leave your battery on, then it's just going to click, 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 and try to fire itself. And if you've turned your propane off, then you're just firing a board that could just short circuit. So again, don't forget to turn it off, and otherwise it's very simple to use this. Make sure little stuff throughout is locked, like these here, otherwise they will slide open and your cans will be all over the place. They all have locking, all your doors have locking, your accordion doors. Make sure these are shut because this is a full wall slide. If you leave this open, it could crush this door. So you just got to be careful when you're closing this up. You have a lot of light switches, got a lot of lights throughout, trash can here, stainless steel sink. Here's your stovetop here. I don't know if I turned the propane on or off. Let me turn the propane on. So with the stovetop, you just turn it on. Sometimes it takes a minute. I just turn the propane bottle on, but you see all the flames light up. Just don't forget to turn these off even if they go out. Make sure they're on the off position because otherwise you'll smell propane very quickly. Make sure this is up as well if you have the heat going. Some people think that they can cook through the glass. It doesn't work, I promise you. Going through the bathroom, the fun part. Well, one, this has a lock here to lock it shut whenever you're traveling. The toilet. If you're going to do number 2 in here, you're going to first fill it up. By the pressure I do it, if I had water going, it would fill it up. Let it fill up, use it, then dump it, fill it up again, then dump it. 2 bowls to every number 2. Even if you do number 1, even though it's a porcelain toilet, I still recommend put a little water in it. Okay, and then flush it. If you have a hair dryer or something that's high wattage, you're going to use this here because it has a GFI reset on it. Bedroom's pretty standard stuff. You do have your air conditioning here. We'll kick it on because it's kind of a hot day. We are running on the generator right now, so I'm able to run the air conditioning. It's high wattage, so it can run pretty much everything on here. Now, if you have a Keurig, everything running off electric, it might pop a breaker, and I'll show you where that's at. But as you can see, I just turned it on. You're going to hit on, off, and your mode buttons for everything here. You can turn it on to fan speed, your cool, your furnace, and this actually has a heat pump. So this actually has 2 ways to heat it. You can, if you're running off generator or shore power, you don't want to roast your propane, it's a little chilly outside, you can turn your heat pump on, and that comes from the air conditioner, so that will go down. The heat rises, so it's going to be up here for a little bit, but eventually it'll seep down. Okay. Light switch here. Pretty much very standard in the bedroom. This is a nice little skylight. When you're traveling, do not forget this is up. I recommend you can get a max air cover on it, and that way you can keep this open as you're traveling and get airflow through here. But not everyone needs it. It's going to be personal preference there. I'm pretty sure that's everything in here. We'll watch some. Okay. additional counter space here. Let me find, I think I saw where books were. DVD player's in here. It's already pre-wired. You just got to hook it up, and then it's going to play through this TV here. I'm just trying to find the books. I forgot to lift them. There. So all your books and manuals are going to be up top in here for the coach. This is a privacy curtain. It's going to Velcro into here. Okay, all the way around. Your TV, it free swings, but once you go all the way in, you can tighten it and then lock it into one position. With this table, if you decide you need to turn it into a bed, first lift the cushion up. You do have storage underneath if needed. There's a little lever under here. You're going to flip this over and then just push it down. Okay, once you've lifted both cushions up, and then you can just form them on top to make a bed. Otherwise, it's on a gas strut, so it's very easy to lift up and down, and then just lock it in its place. The couch. Little storage there, and then it's a jackknife, so you have to push down at the back. Nothing crazy, but you can definitely lounge on it. The storage is nice. You can do a lot of linens, pretty much anything extra you can do under there. But you do have 2 seat belts there, 4 seat belts here. So if you need to travel with extra, you definitely can. Coming back up front, this is your one-stop panel here. This is very important. This is everything. Your gray goes from empty to full. Your black, empty to full. Now again, detail hasn't touched this, so they're going to drain everything out. Your fresh, your battery, and your propane. It'll show you how full it is. Your water heater, everything's labeled, but just to go over it. Water heater, electric and gas. You can flip them both on if you want it really hot, if you're going to take a shower right away, but other than that, just keep it on electric. Or if you're going remotely, gas. You got a water pump. The only time you're going to use a water pump is if you're going to use the water that you've done on the freshwater side. So that cap that you've unscrewed and stuck a hose in there and filled up that tank. By the way, it does have an overflow, so you don't have to worry about rushing and getting it back in. You'll see it pour on the ground. But that's the only time you're going to use the water pump itself. If you have city water connection, which is on the back of the unit, then do not touch this. It'll dry run the water pump, because when you use the city water, it bypasses that tank, it bypasses this pump, and circulates and uses the pressure from that city water connection. Next is your Arctic package. This has a 12-volt wrap on all the tanks, so you flip this on, and it keeps everything nice and heated. It is a 3-seasons coach, technically not an all-seasons coach. It still can freeze up even with that Arctic pack, but it'll definitely help for early spring, late fall camping. Living room lights, kitchen, or you can press them individually. Now your generator has your hours here. If I'm going to shut this on or off, I got to make sure I hold it. Now cutting it on, we'll shut her down. You hold it, you'll hear it cut out. Do not stop holding it until you hear no more noise. Now it's done. Now if I want to start it back up, even though I just had it running, I still want to prime it. Hold down. You'll see the light go on. Start it up, hold start. So you got a solid run, let it go. And then you got it going. Now last is your slide out button. This is a universal panel, so you see it has a blank one here. But it's a one slide throughout. Up here, you want to make sure your seat is not all the way back, because you'll see you have a little bit of clearance here. You want to make sure it's not leaning back so you don't scrape up the back of this nice seat. So from here, when I'm opening and shutting this slide, I want to make sure I have this door open because of pressure. So I'll bring her in. Your microwave only works when you're plugged into 110 or have the generator working. It's too high of wattage to run off the battery system itself. Down here is your breakers and fuses. This is a converter box. Converts 12 volt to 110. But if you ever have a breaker that trips, it'll reset, or to reset it's here. If a fuse pops, it'll glow red, so you know which one is popped. Otherwise, everything's labeled throughout. All right. Go ahead and shut her down. We'll look at the dash up here. With the dash itself, let's see. I haven't messed with this one yet. I should have, yeah. This will have your navigation. You'll be able to set up, menu, destination, and then find address. Put your address in. Don't forget to put the state in first. Go through this, and you'll be able to set up for navigating for home. Otherwise, just like a regular radio, nothing fancy. This even looks like a regular aftermarket radio that you would get at Best Buy. Up here is going to be, keys up, is going to be your camera. Once you turn it on, it automatically kicks on. And if you put it in reverse, it automatically goes to that camera. Or if you flip the blinker, it'll switch to whichever camera you need. Let's see. Regular AC, 12 volt, nothing too fancy. And then you have your remote. That's for your, is this for the camera? Oh, this is for your camera. So you can select which monitor and anything. And you have a brake controller here. So it's already prepped and ready to go if you want to pull a trailer or put anything behind you. All right. Step outside. All right, I believe that's everything, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call, 352-362-7359. I'd be more than happy to go over anything that I missed today, but pretty sure I went over a lot of the main things. A lot of it's going to be trial and error as you go. I do recommend before you take it out to a campsite, play with it at home. This is all self-contained, so you can park it in your driveway or even at your storage lot and just play with it, stay in it, wherever. But, get used to it before you just take it on the open road, okay? Thank you, guys. Have fun. Stay safe.